Sports is presented by the Law Office of Jesse Hernandez, the Texas Jungler. Sponsored in part by Jim Beam, PPL Motorhomes, Flight by Yingling, Tomalitos Mexican Restaurant. The Fall Golf Classic happening Monday, September 30th. Sign up now at sasportstar.com. 94.1 FM. San Antonio's Sports Center.
College football full weekend in effect for us. Starts off with the UTSA Roadrunners tomorrow at 2:30 in the Alamo Dome. In Orange Out, they take on Kennesaw State. 4th-ranked Texas takes on Colorado State in Austin at 2:30. 20th-ranked Texas A&M has a huge matchup against 7th-ranked Notre Dame, which you can catch right here on San Antonio Sports Star starting at 5:30 with the pregame.
This is Extra Innings with Pleasure.
Truth is, I am Iron Man.
Rock and roll! The Texans win it!
You've been called the Da Vinci of our time. What do you say to that?
Absolutely ridiculous. I don't paint.
That goal is history. A walk-off home run.
And it's going to be legendary.
James Pledger wraps your day with insight, opinion, plenty of sarcasm, and of course, your calls. He'll even pour a beer out the door for his favorite story of the day. This is Extra Innings with Pledger. Now, here's Pledge. What's up, Dave? Can't stop me now.
Welcome into Extra Innings with Pledger right here on San Antonio Sports Star, 94.1 FM, sasportstar.com. I am James Pledger. Thanks for following me, however you may be doing that, whether that's on 94.1 FM, if you're listening terrestrially on the radio. Maybe you're listening via our AA Best Bail Bonds audio player at sasportstar.com. Or you could be one of the many watching live on our YouTube stream. You can comment along with the show if you'd like Fred Villarreal, Ms. Becky, Frank Valdez, and Fred Records, all already up in the bullpen here on Extra Innings. And you could be too. Just go to SA Sports Star on YouTube. Go ahead, subscribe. Feel free to comment along with the show, or you could just call in the old-fashioned way, 210-656-ESPN, 656-3776 if you want to be a part of the conversation. The conversations got very heated around the Radio Ranch this morning, and it started bright and early on the morning huddle. Because talk of what was going on in college football between Arkansas and Arkansas Pine Bluff, and then you had the Rutgers Howard game, and the thought process of being able to quote unquote run up the score, and whether teams should be doing that right now in college football.
I mean, okay, let's look at what Arkansas did yesterday. At what point did they pull their starting 11? Because they scored a touchdown on their first 10 possessions. So it's 70-0. They had not been stopped. Now, if the starters had scored the 9th touchdown, I might have a bit of a problem. Now, I know I signed and I got a paycheck, but let's be realistic here. There is the embarrassment factor. But if it's your third stringers that scored on the 5th drive for a touchdown, I don't know what else. I can't have a problem. You got your backups in. I'm just getting every one of my guys' ass kicked because I wanted to get paid.
I'll say this. If they had thrown a touchdown pass on the last play of the game, up 37-7, I could see an argument.
Truth.
What are you supposed to do with a big lead? And do you want him to take a knee? They ran the ball. How about tackle him?
Well, they could have taken a knee. Last play of the game, up 30. Again, if it's your third stringers, go run the play. But if you're running your first string out against their third stringers and you're still running the ball or throwing the ball for a touchdown, yeah, you're doing a little bit more than trying to win the game. You really are. And I get stat padding and all that. And, as a coach, you go out and walk and shake their hand and walk away. But the fact of the matter is there is a standard that most coaches abide by. That we all know when the game is over, there's no longer an attempt to win, but there's an attempt to get better. And I get it. And if you're trying to get better and you're still scoring, that's one thing. But to just embarrass us, to go on my 12th drive, I still have my first stringers in. Come on. What you're not that's not helping anybody. Obviously, I'm not good enough. Obviously, I'm not offering you any resistance if you're up 70-0.
But you know what? There's a reason why we wrote you a check that's basically going to fund your program for the season.
But like I said, there is a standard,
and
a
if
code.
It hurts your feelings. Sorry,
well,
Bubba.
no, that's not the way the world works, though, AJ. That hurts your feelings. This is still a collegial atmosphere, and there are still standards that coaches need to abide by. And one of them is you never, on purpose, embarrass anybody. You never. That's the axiom of a coach is to uplift, to raise.
Dude,
so,
I fundamentally disagree with you here.
You're bringing your UFC one-on-one stuff. The goal is to win, not to embarrass. And if your goal is to embarrass, it is not to coach. I'm serious. There is a level at which if you're out there, your intent is not just winning. Your goal number one is win. And in that win, if you win so well that they feel embarrassed, that's one thing. But to go out and score, I'm going to score 84 on you.
I got
with
news
my
for
third
you, dude.
stringers. That's okay too. But if your first stringers are out there, because I'm going to go get 90, that's a code that you have crossed.
You're thinking like Bear Bryant stuff. Today, in 2024, when you're paying your third stringers to show up.
Yes, and I want them to play hard. And if they're playing hard and doing it, but I'm talking about as a coach, I see an opportunity to go get 100, and I'm going to leave my first string in until I get it. That's one thing. If your third string is scoring against their first string or their second string, that's another. Go do it. But if there is the willful intent to go, I'm going to go hang 90 on you because, you're so weak that you'll take the $1 million for an ass whooping. That's where we've crossed the line.
I don't know. If I'm Rutgers and I'm looking at my schedule and I see a bunch of I see Washington and USC and, Ohio State. I'm like, man, when am I going to get a chance to make my guys feel well? First of all, they scored 44. Like they didn't put up a cartoon number. Okay,
it's still 44-7, and they went for a touchdown on the last game.
They ran the ball.
I agree. And
should he have run? And then when he realized I'm not going to get tackled, falling
AJ,
down,
you could have taken a knee and walked off the field. You know that, and everybody would have not.
But
not
that kid needs reps.
Oh, come on!
And that's what you're paying for.
This is not professional. He needs reps to improve. Come on, AJ.
They're paying this team to come up and take a beating.
They're not paying this team to come and take a beating. They're paying this team to come up and give us an opportunity. I mean, yeah, we're paying you to play you, but I'm not paying you to go 90-0. I mean, this is not cutthroat NFL yet. This year-olds.
They ran the ball.
They did, and I have no problem if it was not. If it was third on third, yeah, go do it. That's improvement. But if it's your first string still running plays and late in the game and you're up 70-0, come on. That's not good for anybody. It's not good for your team.
No.
So why would I do that other than to embarrass you?
It wasn't their first team guys.
I have no problem with it. But even then, you go, seriously? But I don't think there was a willful attempt to embarrass. The guy had I didn't see the play. But if they'd have dropped back and thrown, then that's another thing.
I could at least see an argument then.
I'm not mad at what happened. I'm not. But I do think there's a standard at which, even though you're giving a check to somebody, it is not free will then to just go beat them senseless.
Oh, I disagree. Yeah, that's what you pay for.
I think you pay for competition. And if you're paying somebody that's so bad, you might need to reevaluate your program.
Like when a Kansas, pays Chaminade to come play at Fog Allen, there's not going to be competition. They know that.
You're right.
So what are they going to do? They're not going to
But your starters aren't playing.
They're not going to take
4
it
minutes
easy.
to go.
Again, this isn't a starters thing. This is a coach crying because the fourth string running back ran into the end zone. When is that guy going to get a chance to score again?
Again, they didn't do anything out of the ordinary. They ran a play, but they could have. And
Make a tackle.
Well, yes. If you don't like it,
be mad at your guys.
And I think he probably is. But again, you're down on the last play of the game. You could have taken a knee and walked away. And that would have been, and that would have been the gentlemanly thing to do. It would have. There's no need to embarrass anybody else. This game is in hand.
I don't look at it as embarrassing. I look at it as you paid. It's almost like a training session. Like what you're doing is when you paid for a batting cage for an hour and you had a really good hitting session, in the last 5 minutes, you just kind of sat around and let the pitching machine blow them by you.
We're talking about the last play of the game. You're up by 35 points.
You got a chance to get better. That's all I'm looking at.
And did they get better with that one play? No, they didn't get better. One guy got a little shine.
Well, yeah,
that's fine. But don't say they got better.
What happens when that guy has to play?
Sometimes you get better when you fail, too.
You think Texas wishes their third-string running back would have got more reps last year? I bet they do, because now all of a sudden it's like, oh, wow, we got guys who have never played before.
But there's reps and there's valuable reps. Obviously, they were so much better that the same kind of rep in practice would have been probably better.
Well, you tell me when the fourth-string running back at Rutgers is going to play in the Big Ten.
I'm not mad at running a fourth-stringer. But I will also tell you that this coach could have easily said that fourth-stringer, we're not going to learn on the field. I'm going to learn sportsmanship, and I'm going to teach you that when you have a man down, the game is over. We shake hands and walk off the field. There's no need to inflict any more embarrassment. We have already beaten them in every way possible. And I'm going to show you that as a player, you can shake a hand, and I didn't need to stomp you into the dirt. I've already beaten you.
Man, I think you and I just look at it different. I think that these
so shame on these guys for taking a check. If you're going to take my money, I'm going to whoop your ass.
No, not shame on them. This is their chance to see what it's like going up against the highest level of competition.
Oh, see, listen to you.
But
you get to learn how good we are here at Rutgers, and I'm going to show you the value of a Rutgers football team. I'm going to hang 40 on you in one last play. That's not the intent.
Isn't the intent to get better?
Yes, but getting better and scoring are two different things, man. Just because you ran off because the quarterback on that side tripped over his shoelaces and you scored a touchdown, you're better?
Will you get better running a play or taking a knee?
Well, it depends on what I want to get better at.
It doesn't depend on anything.
Yeah, well, maybe I need to defend.
Taking a knee is never going to make you better.
I disagree. I've watched teams lose a game trying to take a knee.
Sportsmanship?
I watched Miami lose a game last year trying to take a knee. Wow. So maybe there needs some practice for things that do matter. See, I go win a game and keep everybody happy. And I'm not mad at this, but when Arkansas signed to play Arkansas Pine Bluff, they knew that this game wasn't going to be good for anybody.
They knew exactly what it was going to be, yeah.
And they rolled 10 straight touchdowns. And if the starters were in after the fourth touchdown,
the starters didn't play the second half.
Then you go, you know what? That's your fault.
Yeah,
that's your fault. But if they were up 70-0, and on the last play of the game, their fifth stringers scored again, I think everybody would have been, okay, man, seriously, you could have taken a knee.
Yeah, I don't know.
Look, I usually side with Rob when it comes to certain debates, but I think Rob's out of touch here. I get that when you were actually playing college athletics. You're paying players now. NIL, everybody's getting paid. The team's getting paid to play that game. And yes, injuries happen, and you may need to call that player up at some point in the game. Or in another circumstance, maybe that's the only time that player, the fourth string, whatever, gets to see the field. And that's his only chance to score a touchdown throughout his entire collegiate career. And he got to do it. And that's a story that kid's going to get to tell forever. It's not running up the score anymore when everybody's being paid, and everybody's being paid ridiculous amounts of money, including the coaches. I don't feel sorry for the team. You can't say as a coach, out of one side of your mouth, you play to the whistle, you play all 60 minutes, and then the other side of your mouth say you can't run up the score on teams. You're either playing or you're not playing. And those four stringers and walk-ons that practice their butts off all week long have every right to run a play the same right as the first stringers when they get in the game. Not just to walk on the field and take a knee. My opinion, but this is where America is starting to get a little bit too soft, is when, you can't continue to play the game because you may hurt somebody's feelings. This is Extra Innings with Pledge. I am James Pledger right here on San Antonio Sports Star, 941 FM, sasportstar.com. When we come back, more college football talk. because tomorrow the Texas A&M Aggies have a massive game against 7th-ranked Notre Dame at Kyle Field, a game you can catch right here on San Antonio Sports Star, brought to you by Ewald Kubota and the Angry Elephant right there at 281 and Redlam Road. Andrew Monaco, the voice of the Aggies, joined them earlier today to talk about all the familiarity between Notre Dame and Texas A&M as these two teams get to clash to open up the season. That, plus we've got tickets to go see Nothing More out at the Boeing Techport Center coming up. And if you want to win those tickets, stay tuned right here to Extra Innings with Pleasure on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
San Antonio Sports Stars 50K Pro Football Pick'em giveaway is back. Head to sasportstar.com and pick the winners of each pro football game every week to earn points for each correct pick. Highest points each week wins a $25 gift card to Mellow Mushroom. Highest points overall scores $1,000 worth of tickets from A Awesome Tickets. Pick the winning ticket of every regular season game. Win the grand prize, $50,000. This is an audience national contest across multiple markets. The 50K Pro Football Giveaway. Register and win at sasportstar.com.
The John Clay Wolf Show. Here's what's going on in the Wolf Pack.
Do not touch a black woman's hair.
Don't touch a black woman's hair.
She's serious.
That's right. Don't touch it.
Why?
You can compliment it. Don't pull it.
So what if you're fooling around with somebody?
I will never tell you to pull my hair. It's subject to come off if you do that.
That would be the end of the moment, wouldn't it?
That would be wonderful. The John Clay Wolf Show. Every Saturday morning. Check out the YouTube channel, complete with live video stream at jcwshow.com.
Listen to this station anytime, anywhere on Odyssey. Odyssey is your new audio home for all the music, news, sports, and podcasts that matter to you. Odyssey. That's AUDACY.
Have you or a family member been arrested? The law office of Jesse Hernandez, the Texas Chancla, can help regardless of the legal battle you are facing, personal injury or criminal defense. Attorney Jesse Hernandez and his team are ready to fight for you. Calls are answered 24 hours a day and 7 days a week. Call 210-807-8656 or visit jessehernandezlaw.com. That's 210-807-8656 or jessehernandezlaw.com. The law office of Jesse Hernandez, the Texas Chancla.
Hey, football fans, Michael Vick here. They say I transformed the quarterback position. The fastest ever, the strongest arm, the most rushing yards. They call me a game changer. I say BetUS.com changed the sports betting game. It started 30 years ago with the industry's biggest bonuses, and they haven't stopped. This football season, get a 125% sign-up bonus on your first 3 deposits. Join me at BetUS Online Sportsbook and Casino, BetUS, where the game begins.
Guys, did you know your testosterone level impacts your energy, sleep, weight, hair loss, mood, and even ED? And right now, Revive Men's Health San Antonio will check your testosterone for free. They've helped thousands of men since 2011 feel and perform better. They're so confident they can help you, they even guarantee it. Schedule your free testosterone test, exam, and consultation today. Call 210-615-7777. That's 210-615-7777. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
Keep it twisted all year long with Twisted Tea Hard Iced Tea. Twisted Tea is real iced tea that packs a punch with 5% alcohol. Tastes great at the beach, the mountains, or even in your backyard. Look for the bright yellow Twisted Tea cans. Twisted Tea Brewing Company, Cincinnati, Ohio. Please drink responsibly.
Bourbon and Brews is heading south for the summer, but don't worry. We're now introducing Twin Peaks Tequila and Cervezas. It's a fiesta every Friday at Twin Peaks with samples of our favorite tequilas and cervezas all summer long. Twin Peaks eats, drinks, and those scenic views.
Looking for the ultimate bar experience? I-10 Ice House has daily happy hour specials that'll keep your spirits high and your wallet happy. Plus, catch the biggest sports events on massive 10-foot screens. The best seats are at I-10 Ice House on 9518 Console Drive.
Thanks for calling Discover. This is Diego.
Hi, Diego. It's Jennifer Coolidge. I just want to say your cashback match makes me feel so special. It really inspired me.
That's great. Doubling the cashback you've earned at the end of your first year is what we do.
Well, I'm doubling everything now. Double dating, double dipping, double feature, double header, double whammy. Basically double or nothing.
You earn, we match. Discover Cashback Match. See terms at discover.com/credit card.
It's Extra Innings with Pleasure on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Welcome back into Extra Innings with Pleasure right here on San Antonio Sports Star 94.1 FM, sasportstar.com. I am James Pleasure. Thanks for joining me, however you may be joining me, whether that's on the radio, online, or on YouTube at sasportstar.com. A lot going on in the comment section as we respond to all of the running up of football games and scores back in the day. And of course, they still do run up the score on games because it's called style points. You're trying to impress the committee at the end of the year. And some of those games, they forget exactly what happened in the game. They just see the score at the end of it. And that's all that really matters in the committee's eyes sometimes. So when you're trying to make points for a committee at the end of the year, you run it up. And that's what matters. Oh, speaking of which, a game that doesn't matter what the score is, the win and loss is going to be the big thing that separates things at the end of the year when 20th ranked Texas A&M plays host to 7th ranked Notre Dame. That game in and of itself is going to be a resume game for the committee when they meet. And to get a little insight on this game and all the threads that connect all the different pieces and players within it, including the two universities, well, the voice of the Aggies, Andrew Monaco, joined the Blitz a little bit earlier this afternoon.
What's the energy level like right now in College Station?
You know, we were thinking about this. It is high. It is high. You have a game like this that you know is on the future schedule, right? Wow, there's going to be a home and home with Notre Dame in 24 and 25. Well, guess what? It's here. So it's not in the future any longer. And then to have the convergence of, let's start a new era, the Mike Elko era on this first game. And let's slide in a storyline of Notre Dame's quarterback was Mike's quarterback at Duke. And let's add a little more of a storyline that before Mike came to Texas A&M to be defensive coordinator, he was the DC at Notre Dame. There's a lot of excitement for this. This is similar to, I think, a marquee SEC game. I'm thinking the last time it's been this exciting for a non-conference, I would dare say Clemson when they were here, Jimbo's second game. But for an opener, I would say 2016 against UCLA.
Andrew, what's interesting to me is Mike Elko, rookie head coach, at least there at Texas A&M, and having to start out with this kind of a big-time game against an opponent, obviously, that's big time. And he kind of knows what he has, but until they hit the field, does he really? What is he saying about this game?
Yeah, the game one, Joe, is there's you don't know the tendencies for either team. Like if you're going up against Notre Dame, you can look at tape for 10 weeks if you're playing them in week 11, right? But in week one, you not only have to look at what Marcus Freeman has done with Notre Dame and see what Riley Leonard did at Duke, what Bo Collins, their wide receiver, did at Clemson, another wide receiver at FAU. Oh, hold on a second. Then there's Mike Denbrock and what he did at LSU because he's the new offensive coordinator. About the only thing that that's kind of the same is Al Golden's defense for Notre Dame. But even they brought in a couple of new players there. There's so much. Week one is the most adjustments you have to make. And that's one thing that Mike said. The team that makes the adjustments throughout the 60 minutes tomorrow night is going to have the upper hand on the other team.
Andrew Monaco, the voice of the Aggies, joining us here on The Blitz. During your coaches show this week with Mike Elko over at the Rudy's there in College Station, or in your conversations with him leading up to, what has he said about how tough it is going against a Riley Leonard? Because obviously he knows him well, and you know how players have relationships with their coaches and vice versa. But also, because he knows his quarterback well, it might be a tough 3 hours for him on the field on Saturday because you want to beat the hell out of that guy. But at the same time, you do know his tendencies, but he's got a lot better talent around him at Notre Dame than he did while he was at Duke.
Yeah, for 364 days and 21 hours, Mike Elko is a huge Riley Leonard fan. Those 3 hours tomorrow, you're right. It's time to beat the hell out of that Notre Dame quarterback. Mike actually turned it around this week, Jason, which I thought was really interesting. He said, oh, well, Mike knows the tendencies of Riley Leonard. And Coach said, you know what? Riley Leonard's gone up against my defense, if you will. I'm trying to make it as simple as possible, for 2 years at Duke. He might actually know the tendencies a little bit better of what a Mike Elko, Jay Bateman, who's the DC type of defense. Now, here's the difference. It's not the Duke defense. It's the Texas A&M defense. And Mike is excited about this defense. It's of the three aspects, it's probably the one that has not so much the most experience, although you have guys coming back. He's very excited about what he has from the defensive line, shoring up that back end. It's probably a little more settled than the offense. We're still going to learn about that. And there's going to be some exciting stuff on special teams. Kicker Randy Bond comes back, but with Anaya Smith gone and Reuben Owens being down, that's two return guys that are new. But I thought Mike made it really interesting. He said Riley may know a little bit more tendencies going up against my defense for the last 2 years. I think it's another one of those absolutely intriguing matchups for tomorrow night.
I can't wait for the game, Andrew. Obviously, I'm excited about it. That's for sure. Now, we're talking a lot about Riley Leonard. What about Connor Wegman? What kind of a jump do you expect this young man to make from last year to this year?
Huge, Joe. I really do. And I think it's the one thing that he's flat out embraced is, having the entire offseason. And I know he was rehabbing from that injury. There was no rush for him. I know everybody wanted to see him in the spring, but you know what? That spring game doesn't count. And that's about as mean as I can be. And plus with a new head coach, look, he stayed. That was big. And now that he has stayed, he's had this entire offseason to be with not just Noah Thomas, a wide receiver and Ja'Day Walker, who he had last year, Moose Muhammad, but some of the new wide receivers as well. Cyrus Allen comes from Louisiana Tech. He's got Jacob Bostic, who comes from Iowa. He's got those weapons. But more than anything, Joe, what stands out is that Connor Wegman has embraced the leadership role. Now, was it because he had gotten injured and he kind of isolated or insulated? It's hard to watch when you want to be the guy. And now he was very supportive of Max Johnson and Jalen Henderson and even Marcel Reed last year. But he knows, look, we're going to compete. He flat out won the job. He's number one. I think, Joe, the biggest difference, and this is why I'm sorry that he was injured last year, is after the Auburn game, it would have been all those matchups in the SEC, going on the road and playing all that. He still has to gain that kind of experience. But for the short window that he's had at starting quarterback, you know that he is the guy. Now I think with that leadership, you're going to see a little bit more. And I think perhaps because he's healthy, you're going to see a little more of a scrambling or maybe even a running Connor Wegman at times. But we can talk about everything, all of that. The offensive line doesn't keep them upright. I don't care how good you are. That's going to be another one of the storylines, not just for Saturday, but throughout this entire season for Texas A&M.
Andrew Monaco, voice of the Aggies here on the Blitz. First time head coach Mike making his debut. As he has come in and put his stamp on this program, one of the knocks on Jimbo Fisher, talent was there, but discipline was not. Fundamentals weren't. Knowing Mike Elko's track record, that's something he hangs his hat on. Discipline, strength, fundamentals, all that kind of stuff. Has he had enough time to completely instill that kind of culture there?
That was from day one in the first meeting when someone was late and that door was locked. There was no more coming in. We're not going to wait for that person. That accountability was huge. And that started in the offseason after the Texas Bowl. That's when he was able to take over. And that's when he said, not so much it was a change. This is how it's going to be. Look, at that time, you still had some guys in the win. They didn't know if they were coming back to here. And the ones who came back, you have to be all in. The accountability is big. The honesty is big. Mike said this to Dave Elmendorf and I. We were talking with him. We get a chance to get him after Thursday's practice one-on-one. And he said, look, you have to be honest with players. You can't lie to them, right? Not in this day and age. He said the key is, can you be honest without making it personal? And I think that's what makes Mike so good. Jason, if you talk to any player who has played for Mike Elko in the 4 years while he was here at Texas A&M, they rave about him. Was it easy? Absolutely not. But they became better players, and he's ushered some of those into the NFL. Even the offensive players always appreciated what Mike Elko would do with his teammates because they would talk. And I think that honesty is important. Look, you've got to recruit your 85, and I need to get rid of that number, right? It's going up to 105 in a little bit. You got to recruit your own guys every single day. when you build that honest relationship, and what I think is the key word, then that's when you have guys who are going to stay. There weren't as many guys who left as you would think from last year. I know there was a coaching change, and there were some big ones who went, but there was pretty good retention. But it also said something that you had a good number of guys who had their eyes knowing that they could make a difference here at Texas A&M coming in from other schools. And I thought Mike did another really good job, not just with that early signing period, but that olive branch and welcoming to the Texas High School Coaches Association. I think that was big. That was also a change here at Texas A&M.
That was the voice of the Aggies, Andrew Monaco, and you can hear him tomorrow right here on San Antonio Sports Star with the call of the game. It all starts with pregame at 5:30, kickoff at 6:30, 20th ranked Texas A&M, 7th ranked Notre Dame. It is going to be brought to you by Ewald Kubota and the Angry Elephant. If you want to go see nothing more next week, September the 5th, out at the Boeing Techport Center, be caller number 5 right now at 210-656-ESPN. Nothing more. A great local San Antonio-bound band going big across the United States, starting to blow up. You want to see them out at the Techport Center this coming week, September the 5th. Be caller number 5 right now, 210-656-ESPN, 656-3776. Tickets available at livenation.com if you don't win them right here, right now, as caller number 5. When we come back, well, the Dak stuff, it's gotten salty, as Dak seemed a little salty on the podium yesterday, and the guys from the Morning Huddle broke down what Dak felt kind of mistreated maybe by Jerry Jones. We'll discuss coming up next right here on Extra Innings with Pleasure on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
94.1 FM.
Hey, it's Rob Thompson here for Prize Picks, America's #1 daily fantasy sports app. I'm one of 5 million active members. I play every day because you know why? It's the easiest and most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports because I get to use my knowledge and apply it to win some serious money. And as a player, they invented FlexPay, which means you can still cash out if your lineup isn't perfect. You can double your money even if your pick don't hit. You can win up to 100 times your money on Prize Picks with just as simple 4 correct picks. It is that easy to play. You can have fun. It's simple. It's a great playing experience, and you can use your knowledge. How well is Tyreek Hill going to do this week? How is Dak Prescott going to play? If you know, you go play. It's Prize Picks. Download the Prize Picks app today and use the code Alamo and get $50 instantly when you play. That's code Alamo on Prize Picks. You get $50 instantly when you play just 5. You don't even need to win to receive the $50 bonus. It's guaranteed. Prize Picks. Run your game.
The Twin Liquors dollar sale is here. We dropped the price on all wine and spirits to the absolute lowest, then at $1. It's how we say thank you to Saturday only at Twin Liquors.
If you get arrested, get out of jail fast by calling AA Best Bail Bonds, 210-225-2121. Text bail to 474747 or online at mybestbailbonds.com. You don't have to call attorneys or anybody else. Don't be forced into a PR bond. If the jail offers you one, make sure you understand the conditions before accepting it. AA Best Bail Bonds. Nobody beats their price. They have payment plans. Call 210-225-2121 or mybestbailbonds.com.
License number 149.
Looking for the ultimate game day experience? Look no further than I-10 Ice House, your neighborhood sports headquarters with over a decade of excellence. Catch every thrilling moment on massive 10-foot screens, whether it's the big game or that must-see pay-per-view event. And don't miss out on their daily happy hour specials. The best seats are at I-10 Ice House on 9518 Console Drive, proudly serving our community for over 10 years. I-10 Ice House, 9518 Console Drive off Horsebach and 10.
Timmy, everybody. Great job. Next up for our 5th grade class recital, we have Samantha.
10 times better performance can make a big difference. Castrol Edge Motor Oil gives your engine 10 times better high-stress performance. Castrol Edge, better oil for maximum performance. Now through December 28th, Castrol Edge and Edge High Mileage Motor Oil are on rollback at Walmart.
Claim based on sequence 9 test under high-load conditions versus API SP test limits.
Getting quality employees to fill positions in your company is essential, but finding those people can be a major hassle unless you use ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter makes finding quality people a breeze. ZipRecruiter's advanced technology identifies candidates with the right skills, sends you great matches, then you can easily invite them to apply. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. See for yourself. Go to ZipRecruiter.com/free to try ZipRecruiter for free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Bush Loaded, the greatest hits tour. September 4th, Freeman Coliseum. With special guests, Jerry Cantrell and Candlebox. Tickets on sale now at Ticketmaster.com. Bush Loaded, the greatest hits tour. A great night of incredible rock.
My wife and I always loved doing everything together. Jiu-jitsu, kayaking, and intimacy was always on point. It was around my early 30s when I noticed a downward trend. Watching a lot of TV, putting on weight, and just full of self-doubt. I had tried another men's clinic with disappointing results. It's the personalized treatment I receive at Revive Men's Health that has been the complete game changer for me. I've got my energy and motivation back. I'm feeling stronger than I did in my 20s, and it made me a much better husband to my wife.
I'm Nicole Chrysler, healthcare provider at Revive Men's Health. If you are always feeling tired or moody, have a difficult time sleeping, or decreased libido, you may be suffering from low testosterone.
Book your free T-check and exam. Call Revive Men's Health San Antonio at 210-615-7777. That's 210-615-7777. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
Check out The Morning Huddle with AJ Hoffman and Rob Thompson. Mornings 6 to 10, 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Welcome back into Extra Innings with Pleasure right here on San Antonio Sports Star, 94.1 FM, sasportstar.com. Jack hit the podium yesterday, and he sounded a little bit salty. The guys from the Morning Huddle debate Dak's response to Jerry's, let's say, lack of urgency in trying to get something done with him.
Dak, good old Dak. Dak's a little I don't know if Dak's salty, or is he just
No, he's telling the truth in veiled statements. Listen to what he had. Man, this guy is so done.
Here we go.
With Jerry. He's done. He loves being a Cowboy. He's done with Jerry.
They asked Dak if they expect, or if he expects that negotiations will continue into the season. And here's what Dak had to say about that.
That's up to Todd and those guys. Once again, I'm not going to be a part of them here as the season starts. And they've been going. They've been going obviously heavily through Todd and Steven both. Yeah, it's just all part of them. I control what I can. And as I said, well, back in camp, it's two parts to this. Both sides have to come to the agreement.
You don't need a deal done before the season.
I don't need no.
Would you like it done before the season?
I think it says a lot if it is or if it isn't. But however, doesn't really matter to me, to be honest with you.
What does it say if it isn't?
Just how people feel. I don't know.
How do you feel? How do you feel if it isn't?
You're right about that.
You open that door.
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
Yeah. Tells you a lot about how people feel. Now, he's talking about himself.
Yeah.
He's not talking
about Jerry?
He's not talking about Jerry. It'll show you a lot about how I feel, because he has not offered me a contract worthy of my standing. Jerry's offered a deal. There's a deal on the table right now that is pretty good, that 95% of the world would look at and go, you're crazy if you don't sign this. But he knows that with every tick of the clock, he makes more money.
That's true. I kind of took it as if they don't get this thing done before week 1, they're not serious about getting it done.
He knows that he isn't, and this is Dak talking about himself. Unless you're going to give me $60 million over 5 and make me the highest paid football player in history, don't call me.
Yeah, it's Dak about the guys being on the 1-year deal. All these guys who are kind of in the, I don't want to say lame ducks, but they all kind of are.
Because there's a lot of uncertainty with a lot of you guys on this team, including your coach.
Gotta love it.
There's a sense of urgency to let's get this done because you don't know what the future may hold.
Yeah, for sure. You got to love it. Honestly, you got to love it. You got to embrace it. That's the challenge. Once again, we as the players or the coaches don't have the full say in whether we're here or not. And so it's about us controlling what we can. Right now, it's about sticking together, making this locker room, embracing this culture, embracing one another, not putting necessarily pressure on ourselves, but understanding that this team won't be the same after this, whether it be the coaches, whether it be the players, whether it be some of the key pieces. I just doubt it will be the same, and that's the business of it. So, yeah, it's now, period.
I guess if anything, that's what you're going to get. And I guess you always worry about this when you pay guys. Like once a guy gets paid, you always wonder if he's going to play hungry anymore.
Mm-hmm.
There's no doubt that Dak Prescott's going to play hungry.
I'm not worried about that.
There's no doubt that Mike McCarthy's going to coach hungry.
Yeah.
It's there is something to like, and these guys know this is the time. It's if we don't do it here, what's going to happen?
That's Jerry's dream. And that was his plan. The Expendables, one last mission.
And if that's your plan, sure, it may work out. But I tweeted earlier today, semi in jest, the Cowboys are Dak Prescott and Mike McCarthy and that entire coaching staff have a chance to do something really funny, which would be take this team to a Super Bowl, get to the end of the season and say, Jerry, you disrespected us all year. You made us twist in the wind. You made us look like fools in the media. We're taking our talents elsewhere. Hell, New York could be looking for both a quarterback and a head coach at the end of the year with both Jones and Daboll gone. McCarthy and Dak slide right in and kick your ass twice a year, every year, just to shove it in your... And to me, that could be freaking hysterical if the Cowboys were to do that. This is Extra Innings with Pledge right here on San Antonio Sports Star, 94.1 FM, sasportstar.com. When we come back, John Machota joined the Blitz earlier today. More on this Dak Prescott stuff as the insider from Dallas breaks it all down on what Dak was like at the podium and what he took away from it. That's coming up here on Extra Innings with Pledge on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Your neighbors at El Guacamole Mexican Grill on 25020 Blanco Road are ready to serve you breakfast or lunch fresh, made to order Mexican dishes or cold drinks on tap. Order today or visit El Guacamole Mexican Grill on 25020 Blanco Road.
Buyers Barricades is proud to provide traffic control, rental, and sales for work zones and events in the San Antonio area and beyond. Buyers Barricades, the Texas authority in barricade rental. Learn more online at buyersbarricades.com. That's buyersbarricades.com.
Nigel, why are you wearing a backpack?
I'm going back to school.
Folks, when your AC decides to flunk out or your home's plumbing is stuck in detention, AC and heating, our technicians are certified with all the latest technology and can fix any plumbing or AC issue fast and at a fair price because you deserve the A+ service.
Gotta go, Joel. We're studying paper mache. I might have to pull an all-nighter.
Quarter Moon Plumbing, Heat and AC, 210-651-5899. License number TACLA 885-898-M16004.
When you ask people here what's the one thing that makes Diamonds Direct their favorite jeweler, for some, it's the unbeatable pricing we get through our direct importer. No middleman connections. The foundation of our business since day one. For others, it's the uncompromising quality. From hand-selected diamonds to handcrafted designer rings. Only the best of the best. Some people put selection at the top of their list, as Diamonds Direct offers up to 30 times the options you expect from a typical jewelry retailer. For some, it's our luxurious showroom with diamond experts who genuinely care about your experience and happiness, and who are empowered to do whatever it takes for you. Others rave about Diamonds Direct's unmatched warranties and guarantees that include free service for life and an extraordinary 110% diamond upgrade promise. But you know the most often answer we get when asking what makes Diamonds Direct stand out? It's not one thing, it's everything. Diamonds Direct. Value, luxury, choices, and confidence. Get directions, hours, and more at diamondsdirect.com.
Eczema flaring up again. We have good news.
Exoderm. If you or someone you love suffers from eczema or dermatitis, get Exoderm, the common sense answer for eczema. This stuff really does work. Exoderm contains the #1 doctor-recommended ingredient in a clean hypoallergenic cream with no harsh additives. Take back control of your eczema with affordable, fast-acting Exoderm Flare Control Cream. Exoderm. It's in the first aid aisle of your local Walmart, H-E-B, and other fine stores.
Timmy, everybody. Great job. Next up for our 5th grade class recital, we have Samantha.
10 times better performance can make a big difference. Castrol Edge Motor Oil gives your engine 10 times better high-stress performance. Castrol Edge, better oil for maximum performance. Now through December 28th, Castrol Edge and Edge High Mileage Motor Oil are on rollback at Walmart.
Claim based on sequence 9 test under high-low conditions versus API SP test limits.
With Progressive Snapshot, you could save on auto insurance rates by driving safely, which is great because you're rarely rewarded for just being you. Ever get rewarded for being left-handed? No. You get to use weird scissors. Your reward for being a Capricorn? Cold birthdays that conflict with the holidays. And your reward for quickly responding to every work email? More emails. But with Snapshot, even left-handed Capricorns with proper email etiquette could get rewarded for good driving. So download the Progressive app today. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates. Snapshot not available in all states or from all agents.
The John Clay Wolf Show. Here's what's going on in the Wolf Pack.
Hey, Joe Exotic, you there?
I am.
So what's been going on in prison this week?
Not much. Just because of the politics in prison, because I'm gay.
What turned you gay, Joe Exotic?
You know, I've been asking myself that for 40 years, but I think I got sucked into it.
The John Clay Wolf Show. Every Saturday morning. Check out the YouTube channel, complete with live video stream at jcwshow.com.
Looking for the ultimate game day experience? Look no further than I-10 Ice House, your neighborhood sports headquarters with over a decade of excellence. Catch every thrilling moment on massive 10-foot screens, whether it's the big game or that must-see pay-per-view event. And don't miss out on their daily happy hour specials. The best seats are at I-10 Ice House on 9518 Console Drive. Proudly serving our community for over 10 years. I-10 Ice House, 9518 Console Drive off Worsbach and 10.
Bush Loaded, the greatest hits tour. September 4th, Freeman Coliseum. With special guests, Jerry Cantrell and Candlebox. Tickets on sale now at Ticketmaster.com. Bush Loaded, the greatest hits tour. A great night of incredible rock.
Looking for the ultimate bar experience? I-10 Ice House has daily happy hour specials that'll keep your spirits high and your wallet happy. Plus, catch the biggest sports events on massive 10-foot screens. The best seats are at I-10 Ice House on 9518 Console Drive.
Howdy, San Antonio. This is Andrew Monaco, and you're locked on the home of the Aggies, 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Welcome back into Extra Innings. It's a pleasure here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. Gilberto Padilla says his after the UTSA game, going to the SAFC game, then to the Roo Pub after. I will also be at Texas Tech game, so maybe I'll see you out there, out at the Roo Pub, 281 in Redland Road. Earlier today on the Blitz, John Machota joined Jason and Joe to talk about the comments of Dak Prescott at the podium since he was there and how he took those.
John Machota from The Athletic, who joins us on the Buyers Barricades guest line. And John, I thought, all right, CD gets signed. We're done with contract talk, but there's still Dak. And the way Dak sounded yesterday, seemingly a little frustrated that he too does not have a new deal. Did you take it that way when you guys were talking to him yesterday?
Absolutely. This has followed a path that Dak's kind of been on for the last few months, where he's just talked very openly about him understanding that this could be his last year with the Cowboys. And as I've said to you guys many a times, I thought CD would get done before the season started, and I didn't feel that way about Dak, and I don't feel that way right now. And I think that the lack of communication probably from the Cowboys with Dak's agent is probably a factor in there, and it probably is letting Dak know that there might not be one done before the season starts. And if there's not, he made it pretty clear that it kind of speaks to the way, people feel about this whole situation. And if you read between the lines, that certainly means that the way that the Cowboys feel, that they might want to see more from Dak. And I've said to you guys many a times, the actions speak louder than words. And the actions are that if there isn't a contract done by the start of the season, I don't see one getting done during the season. And so I started believing this back in March when he didn't get a contract extension done before free agency started. And there's no reason for me to think any differently now. Jerry Jones wants to see Dak Prescott play his 9th full season and then determine there if he's going to give him a new deal or if Dak's going to hit free agency.
Wow, John, Jason and I have been talking about that, debating it back and forth about, what's the right way, what's the wrong way, the chance that Jerry would take by doing that. But I have to believe, John, and you tell me your thoughts. I have to believe if Dak goes into this year, leads this Cowboy team to a couple of playoff wins, that Jerry will almost back up the truck and give him figure. But I just think Jerry has to see if Dak can actually do it.
Yeah, no, that's what it comes down to. I mean, Dak has done everything during the regular season you could hope over the last 8 years. He played at a very high level last year and was certainly a quarterback that you would want leading your franchise. But the Jerry Jones part of this whole thing is wanting to see them go farther in January. And I think maybe it's different if they beat Green Bay and then lose to San Francisco for a 3rd consecutive year. Maybe that way they just look at it as, hey, we just don't have as much talent as San Francisco. But the way last season ended, with how good things were going and how well they were playing at home, to not only lose to Green Bay, but lose in the fashion they did, that carries so much more weight. And I've been saying this all offseason, and it kind of, in a way, warms my heart because I've been calling this. And for some reason, I just love that this has been happening lately. Jerry has been talking about Green Bay more and more. I knew that he was still angry about that. And he has mentioned it multiple times now at training camp. He mentioned it again the other day that we got to get past Green Bay. And when he means that, he doesn't mean that Packers team. He means like that loss, to get past something like that. I knew that he was not going to let that thing go. I know that bothered him a lot, that it wasn't just losing the playoffs again. It was, they looked like they took a step back from the teams that came up short against the 49ers. You didn't even get to the Niners game. You didn't even get to possibly get blown out in that game. You got blown out before in the round before, and you were at home. And so I think all of that factors in. And believe me, there's people listening to this that I can promise you think that, well, that it's not all on Dak, and it's not all on Dak. And there's most people would give him a new contract. And he would have that already, would have done it in March. But at the end of the day, this comes down to one person, and it's Jerry Jones, and that's the person I'm talking about right now. The actions say that Jerry wants to see more from Dak.
And I agree with that, and I want to see more from Dak in the postseason. What I'm afraid of, just as a Cowboy fan, John Machota, is if Dak Prescott hits free agency, why would it give Jerry the opportunity to match? If so, especially if there becomes a bidding war, and I do think a couple of 3 teams would throw whatever money Dak wants at them because he would be a massive upgrade over what they currently have with no plan in place. The Eagles had Jalen Hurts so they could move on from Carson Wentz. You go back, Alex Smith was in Kansas City. They got Patrick Mahomes. They were able to move on. Jordan Love in Green Bay. The Cowboys have no plan in place right now, not even a bridge quarterback of starting for this franchise. That's my biggest concern as we go back to the Chad Hutchinson, Drew Henson days.
And that very well could be happening, because here's the thing. With what you started with, you said about Dak, potentially would he, be willing to come back or take less or even what if Jerry, when the season's over, depending on how the season goes, what if he doesn't even make an offer? What if he is at a point where he's like, we have to go in another direction? I'm not saying that's a good idea, but I'm saying that you can't count that out where and I guess I shouldn't say not make an offer. There clearly would be an offer. It would have to be a very team-friendly offer. But I'm saying that what if there's a scenario where Jerry's not even looking to try and be the highest bidder? And if Dak leaves, then so be it. He leaves, risky play. He's 31 years old. He's still got a lot of good football left. But you can't rule out that Jerry Jones might not be willing to go down that path, because if he wasn't, Dak would have a contract by now. That has to be part of what he's factoring in. And he might not even know that plan right now, what the quote-unquote plan B would be in the offseason, whether it be to draft a quarterback or make a move for a veteran off another team. He might not even know what that is yet. But this could very well be, when he says all in, that he's all in on, well, we're going to evaluate this thing on our coaching staff. Much of them are in the final year of their contract or one-year deals. and our quarterback. Because if you make those two changes in the offseason, that's as big of a change as you can make, is changing your head coach and your franchise quarterback.
Yeah, no question about it. And John, I have to believe too, a lot of this comes down to what he would have to pay Dak Prescott right now. He would have to make him the highest paid quarterback in the league. You're talking about a ton of money and a commitment as well. And that has got to factor in, doesn't it?
Yeah, for sure. But I just think that from his perspective, he probably looks at it as, right now it's 55 would be the top of the market, would at least tie with a few other quarterbacks. But you can even say 60. I think Jerry looks at it as, well, if we have a really good season and Dak, leads this team, deep into the playoffs, I have no problem giving $60 million in the offseason to him or whatever it takes to get the deal done, because he'll have seen what he needed to see, and he's fine with committing for another 4 years. He probably would want to even do more, but let's say 4 years at, 60 to 63 million, something like that. I think then if Jerry saw that, it would be a lot easier for him to give that next contract, as opposed to where he might be sitting right now. Because I do think that Jerry kind of likes, I see a Dak that is probably, I don't know if frustrated is the word, but he doesn't really care about what Jerry's saying about the contract or whatever. The actions to him are going to speak louder than words. And Dak's going to have an edge. If he goes into the season, if he walks out on that field in Cleveland, he doesn't have a new contract, he's obviously going to have an edge on, well, they don't believe in me. They didn't give me a new contract, and they must not believe in me. I'm going to show them. And there's a part of Jerry Jones that I guarantee you believes, hey, that might bring out the best in Dak Prescott. We might see the best Dak Prescott we've ever seen, because this might be the angriest Dak Prescott we've ever seen.
And because he's angry, maybe it doesn't matter what Jerry offers at the end of the year, and he's just going to leave anyway. And that's the corner you may have pointed yourself into. We got high school football next, energized by Hill Electric, Frost Bank, and NCE General Contractors, as Johnson takes on Judson next.
San Antonio's Sports Star.
Ladies and gentlemen, the weekend.